Welcome. Today, we are opening up the Investor's Playbook. We're going to pull back the curtain on the relationship you have with your financial advisor so you can walk away feeling way more confident and totally in control of your financial future. Let's get right into it. I mean, it's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Handing over your hard-earned money to someone, that takes a huge leap of faith. But here's the thing. It's not just about blind trust. It's about understanding the system that's actually built to protect you in the first place. And that's exactly where we're going to start. The financial industry isn't some kind of Wild West. It actually operates on a pretty strict set of rules. A playbook, really, that every single professional has to follow. And it's all designed to keep you and your money safe. So here's our game plan. First, we'll cover the basic rules of engagement between you and your advisor. Then, we'll look at what a real financial roadmap should look like. After that, we'll touch on the special protections for vulnerable investors, zoom out to see how the bigger economy affects your money, and finally, we'll break down how financial markets actually tick. Okay, first up, the rules of engagement. Every single healthy financial relationship is built on two absolutely core principles. First, your advisor has to get to know you, and second, they have to use that knowledge to recommend things that are actually suitable for you. So this is ground zero. It all starts with something called Know Your Client, or KYC for short. Honestly, you can just think of it as a mandatory financial health checkup. Your advisor has a legal duty to understand your age, your income, your goals, how you feel about risk, all the essential stuff that makes up your unique financial DNA. And this right here is a perfect example of what happens when that rule is ignored. So you have Catherine, an elderly widow in her 80s. She needed stable income and she had a very low tolerance for risk. Her advisor put her into a high-risk leverage strategy. This wasn't just a piece of bad advice. It was a clear violation of the rules because it was completely, totally unsuitable for her. This lays out exactly what an advisor must tell you if they ever suggest using leverage, which is just a fancy term for borrowing money to invest. Look, it's true that your gains can be magnified, but so can your losses. And no matter what happens, you still have to pay back that loan. Understanding these risks is what gives you the power to ask the tough but necessary questions. So, how does this all work in the real world? Well, we move from the rules that protect you to the process that actually moves you forward. A good advisor doesn't just throw advice at you. They build a financial roadmap with you. And this shows you the journey perfectly. It's a 6-step process. You start by making the relationship official. Then you gather all your data. Hey, there's that KYC step again. From there, they analyze everything, present a clear plan, and, only with your okay, they put it into action. But it's not set it and forget it. A good plan is a living thing, and it needs to be monitored and updated as your life changes. Now that rule book we talked about, it has some special clauses. The system recognizes that some people need an extra layer of protection, which creates some very specific duties of care for older or more vulnerable clients. So who exactly is a vulnerable client? Well, the definition is pretty broad. It's really anyone who, because of their personal circumstances, might be at a higher risk of being financially taken advantage of. And that puts an even bigger responsibility on the financial firm to do the right thing. Okay, one of the key protections here is something called a trusted contact person, or TCP. Now, you really need to get the difference here. A TCP is your safety net. Your advisor can call them if they're worried about you or can't reach you. But, and this is the important part, a TCP has zero power over your money. They can't make decisions. That power belongs only to someone with a power of attorney, or POA. Two totally different things. All right, so we've got the rules, we've got the roadmap for your personal plan. But your money doesn't exist in a vacuum, right? It's all part of a much bigger picture, the economy. The mean scorecard for the whole economy is the gross domestic product, or GDP. Just think of it as the country's total annual income. When GDP is going up, the economy's growing, and that usually means good things for company profits and hopefully for your investments. Next, there's the Consumer Price Index, or CPI. This is how we measure inflation. It basically tracks the price of a big basket of stuff to see how fast costs are rising. And why does that matter? Well, high inflation means your money buys less tomorrow than it does today, which can eat away at the real value of your savings. Our third big indicator is the unemployment rate. Pretty straightforward. It's the percentage of people who are looking for a job but can't find one. This is a big deal because when unemployment is high, people have less money to spend, and that can slow the whole economy down. As a rule of thumb, When GDP is growing, unemployment tends to fall. And this chart here shows how it all fits together. The economy doesn't move in a straight line. It moves in cycles, or waves. You've got periods of expansion, where GDP is growing and jobs are plentiful, and then you have periods of contraction, or recession, where things slow down. Understanding this rhythm helps you and your advisor make sense of market performance. All right, for our final section, let's get right down to the engine room. What actually decides the price of the stocks and bonds in your portfolio? Well, it all comes down to one of the most basic ideas in all of economics. It all starts with supply. This upward sloping line just shows a really simple idea. When the price of something, like a stock, goes up, more people are willing to sell it and cash in. Higher price, more supply. Makes sense. And the other side of that coin is demand. This downward sloping line shows the exact opposite. When the price of that same stock goes down, more people see it as a bargain and are ready to buy. Lower price, more demand. Simple, right? And here's the magic. The market price is found right where those two forces meet. It's that perfect sweet spot where the number of shares people want to sell exactly matches the number of shares people want to buy. This little balancing act happens millions of times a second, and it's what sets the price for everything you own. So let's boil all this down into your personal playbook. Number 1, your advisor's job starts with knowing you. Make sure the recommendations are actually a good fit. 2, insist on a roadmap, that clear 6-step plan that turns your goals into reality. 3, never agree to use leverage until you fully understand the risks. And 4, always designate a trusted contact person as a safeguard. That's it, that's your playbook. And that leaves us with one final thought to chew on. Now that you have the playbook, take a hard look at your own situation and ask yourself, is my financial plan built for yesterday's world, or is it truly ready for my tomorrow?